Opposition is also a type of connection. There are two parties of people. Those who perceive through forthcoming to the wisdom, and others who do through negation, meaning they are coming from the other side by trying to challenge it. Thus, they study it that way, so they let to know. So they get to know you. They need to learn it. So they cannot connect. It's sort of a type of connection, but they cannot connect with you in a simple way, right? You recently said that it is, in fact, we usually relate to such people negatively, that they create problems. But in fact, they are, can we call them students as well from that perspective? I wouldn't call them students. A student is the one that wishes to be like his teacher, which knows that he must follow the teacher. And as a result, he needs to adhere to him, and this way he will advance forward. Just like after a guide. And these people that have a critical attitude, they have chosen a very bitter path for themselves. Because their ego, their jealousy, and I would say the sensation of a fear, the feeling of fear, the feeling of, besides jealousy, there can be well, for the most part, it's jealousy. It gnaws them. They are ready to give out everything in order to exterminate you, not only to destroy you, no, to smash you, so that you would be defeated in the eyes of everyone. But well, what can be done? I pity them. Simply pity. People waste their entire energy, their entire life, all their impulses, so that they somehow find something bad they can do to you. But they are needed also, these kinds of people, in the general state of humanity. But of course, their function, their role is not enviable, because at the end they will have to go through all this from the very beginning in a good way. But they're not choosing it. Listen, my dear, you don't juggle around with phrases. They choose or they don't. Every person has at least some minimal capability of free will. These people are that are against. They have encountered us. They had an opportunity to evaluate us correctly, and their ego, their jealousy, their envy, shame, maybe, because they are not like that, or their personal qualities, maybe some other bad qualities, or some opinions, bring them to the point that they became to be against us. Here we can't do anything anymore. I'm ready to accept them today, and almost in all cases, these are the people that learned from me, and then they left, and they organized for themselves something, either circles or nothing really organized, but only from morning till night, think how to harm. They live off of sucking out of you. They desire to suck out this vital force which you receive from above and trying to distribute to others. And they, in the form you are trying to distribute to others, they cannot receive it from you. Therefore, they are raging. There are many like that. Well, not that many, but maybe you can find 6, 7, 8 people. So what do you want? throughout so many years of work. There are people like that, and who didn't have like that people like that. All great Kabbalists have them, and so I recon among them since I have those people. But you divide. You say that those are ex-students, but there are those who oppose, and they are somewhere in nearby in the horizon, and there's somehow study too. But those are opposers of a different types. There are simply people that cannot take the word Kabbalah simply because they were raised that way. There are people that don't understand, don't strive toward it, thinking that it can harm them, it can lower their significance. Those and those study it, and you don't. And so on. There are many reasons to cause trouble to others without even thinking. And I don't even mention religious problems when you talk about religion in a different way, about the Creator, something completely new, something that none of religions say. So how can that be acceptable? With each other, they collaborate perfectly well. Because everyone is busy doing the same thing, sort of serve people, sort of. For instance, I drive once in the car from Toronto to I think it's it's in the north of Canada. So I'm sitting waiting until my car fuel tank is filled, and there is a preach, a Christian preach. I don't know of which exactly denomination he belonged to, but so he gets in, sits in the passenger seat. I'm with my son at that moment, so my son freely talks to him, meaning that he feels that you're close with him spiritually. He welcomes you from the distance as if, hello, colleague, and it's acceptable. There is nothing wrong with that. And if I'm a Kabbalist, I do completely different from what they do. I am not even a believer in general sense, and nor I'm a preach, to say a professional. I'm completely on the different side, and so that kind of thing surface. How to digest this guy? What is he? What kind of a creature? And so you're saying that opposition exists so that you can, for yourself, explain what exactly you do. Well, yes, it's a problem until a person that studies Kabbalah realizes what he does in fact. It is formed in him very, very gradually. It's not right away. It's not immediate. He begins to realize what for and how and for what reason, and all that falls into its piece. There are places. Nevertheless, he studies the soul that he doesn't feel. He studies the sensation in that soul, which is called the upper world, which is not felt either. He only strives to come close to it, and therefore, yet he doesn't have a clear understanding where he is. If someone from outside begins to talk to him, he gets confused very easily. He doesn't know what to say. But we're not talking about his internal opposition, but about the external. He meets someone, and that person begins to tell, oh, I know, and sort of opposes it. So the person gets this, stop, how is it possible? What am I supposed to do? And you're saying that it is for him to scrutinize what he actually does through these kinds of details. Did I understand you correctly? Oy, it's hard. It's difficult to explain.